Welcome back. This is our first video in our second session on actually using multi-body parts as opposed to creating them. We're going to take a look at a couple tools along with this power strip model that we've been using some and see what we can do. I'm going to come in and hide this top face and kind of go from there. We've got a model of a mounting boss that we use in a lot of our designs, and we're going to reuse it. Or at least that's the idea we're going to go with. We're actually going to come in and say insert part, and we actually can bring another file into this file. Not quite an assembly, but some of the similar ideas. So I've got this mounting boss that we want to stay consistent with all the other components. And we got a couple options over here in the insert parts dialog: solid bodies, surface bodies, all the way down to model dimensions. But I do want to come in and turn on the move copy feature when I get this inserted. I can break a link to the original part and propagate any visual properties from the original as well. I'm just going to say OK, and it's going to throw it in and align the origins. Now I've got a couple options. I can add mates, much like I would see at the assembly level, or I can come down to the translate rotate button and actually move the part around as I insert him. So maybe I'll do that first. I'm going to come in the X direction, kind of move him down, and then maybe in the Z direction, move him one way or the other way. Now, where do I need to position him? Well, I might have some design intent that I want to keep with this. In our case, maybe we come into a wireframe view. We just want to stay away from our hole there on the bottom side. So I'm going to come in and move him a little bit further down and a little bit closer to the back wall. Maybe something about like that. And say OK. Now, if we look at this, looks like our part is kind of embedded down in the main body of our power strip a little bit. So instead of that being flush on the bottom, maybe we need to move him up a little bit. So let's go back to the insert features, move copy again. In this case, I'll come in and move this guy. I can move him up in X, Y, or Z, but I'm not sure exactly how embedded he is there. We're going to come in and use the constraints option instead. We can add mates, much like at the assembly level, and I want to come in and mate the bottom of that mounting boss to the top side of the surface. Problem is, right now, both of those faces are nice and flush. So I'm going to show you another tool. If I come in and right-click on this face, I can say Select Other. So that face that I initially selected goes hidden, and if I continue right-clicking, I can come in and continue hiding faces that may or may not be in the way. With a left click, though, I can come in and select the face that I actually want to pick. So that bottom face now of our mounting boss. And we'll come in and choose the top face and add that coincident mate, making things nice and flush. Okay. Insert, features, move copy again. Come in and pick the same body. This time, instead of adding more mates, we're actually going to translate this body and make a copy. So if we come in here, we can graphically grab these by the handles or type in dimensions over in the property manager tree. So drag him down here a ways. Make sure it looks like there's some good clearance on the side. And instead of this being, weird numbers, we'll say 8 inches and 0.2 and say OK. So I've got another copy of the body in the part there. I've got a plane that runs right down the middle of our part. Select on him, come in and mirror. We don't want to mirror features, we want to mirror the entire bodies. These two guys. Say OK. Now we've got 6 total bodies. We actually want to glue these parts together. Insert, features, and combine. Now the combine has a couple different sides to it. The adding together, subtracting, and common. For now, we're going to start looking at adding. We actually want to take the base and our 4 mounting bosses and glue those all together into one single body. So now we have the bottom and come in and show the top. Okay, so just another interesting way to work with multi-bodies, inserting parts into other parts, moving things around with the move copy body, and then the combine tool to add things all back together.